Yo, what's good? So in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about three things I learned from tapping into six density consciousness. Real quick, ignore the boxes in the back. I'm collecting cardboard because I make fires. My shits be dope. But let me first talk about the 6D, right? So 6D, the D means density, right? Because densities refer to levels of consciousness which you experience depending on what plane you are observing. So if you have a 6 density consciousness, that means that you are able to observe up to the sixth plane of existence. The sixth plane is the Buddhic plane. It's also called the architectural plane. If you want to understand more about it, you could watch a video that I have on Patreon. I have a whole PowerPoint about all 12 planes of existence, along with why they're named, how they're named, um, how it relates to your human makeup and stuff like that. And this is a whole bunch of stuff. Just go watch it. You feel me? But I made a list on my phone about six things I've learned tapping into the six density of consciousness. So the first thing, right, that I would say is that I understood more about the template of my soul. So your soul's template is pretty much, let's explain what a soul is at first. So a soul is an individualized focal point of awareness. Your soul is a tiny fractal of your spirit. Your spirit is an infinite, eternal, energetic awareness, right? Now, when that spirit wants to manifest in time and space, it needs to create a soul because as an infinite, eternal, energetic awareness, you're infinite and eternal. So it splits itself off into a tiny soul to observe this one lifetime. Now, when your soul splits off from your spirit, it's made with a certain template, and this template contains certain information from your spirit because once again your spirit is infinite and eternal and has unlimited information. So to make a soul that's going to have a finite experience, it decides to piece out certain information from itself in order to make the template for the soul. So your soul's template is kind of the information that your soul's kind of already born with before it develops its own separate mind. A mind being a group of information. Now, like I said, the template is kind of like the original mind that your soul has, but as your soul observes life, it picks up on various different things and it stores its information inside of the mind, the group of information. So, long story short, the soul's template is pretty much the information that the soul is already programmed with prior to birth, right? So, when understanding the template of my soul, number one, I kind of understood the makeup of my soul in this lifetime. I understood what lifetimes I've had previously which influenced this one, along with the different karmas, the different traits, gifts, and abilities which all these lifetimes hold. By the way, I do offer galactic Akashic readings, and inside those readings, I can actually look at your soul and I can actually see what lifetimes influence this lifetime heavy. I can see the traits, abilities, the gifts. I could tell to you about what those past lives included, how to connect with them more, and how they rabbit to your purpose on the earth. Because I've done that for myself. I've looked at my own soul's template because the 6D holds your soul's template, and I've observed like, oh my God, I see why I have this Lyran lifetime and this Arcturian lifetime and this Dragon lifetime and what traits and abilities I have from them and what karmas they come with and how it wraps into my purpose on earth and stuff like that, right? I've literally seen all that for myself, because we have various lifetimes. I mean, we have an infinite, eternal spirit. So, I mean, that spirit can incarnate in an infinite amount of lifetimes, but certain lifetimes are not as important for this lifetime. So, for example, there's a time where I was a fucking pig being, right? But I don't really tap into the pig shit because the pig shit does not matter for this life. I tap into the feline Lyran shit. I tap into the dragon shit. I tap into the Arcturian shit because that actually holds more weight and more value for this lifetime, and that's what my soul is templated with. This observer is programmed to tap into those past lives because they hold certain information which I use inside of this life, right? Like for example, my Arcturian side is very good with getting information and also teaching it to other people. You feel me? So my Arcturian side's like a is like a very big knowledge keeper that learns information and will teach it also. You feel me? My feline side is good for being a leader, but specifically in a sense where it's like I'm leading by example. I'm kind of showing it's like I'm showing people their potential through what I'm doing myself. It's very like connected with the people. It's very loving. It's very passionate. You know what I'm saying? I have my dragon self, right? My dragon self could be used as a leader form also, but it's more about self empowerment. Like the different dragon forms that I have, and they're different dragon flames. If you guys don't know, a dragon flame is pretty much the life force of a dragon. That when it activates, it gives the dragon way more powers and stuff, right? Every dragon flame that I've activated always empowers me in a different way. You feel me? The water dragon flame empowers my emotions. You feel me? The fire flame, it pretty much empowers my drive and it empowers my passion. You know, the earth one kind of empowers my discipline. You feel me? It makes me more stable. You know, the air one, it empower my fault. I got a text. But my air one, right? My air flame empowers my thoughts and my ability to think fast and analyze. The ether one empowers my consciousness and my awareness and my ability to become empty and kind of just become perceptive of all the space around me. You feel me? And there's more dragon flames. I have the cosmic lightning flame. I have so many, the love flame, right? And it always empowers certain qualities within inside of myself. So the dragon side is mainly about self empowerment, and then with that self empowerment, I can use it. I could use it to lead other people. But as a dragon, I don't lead in the same way that I would as a Lyran. You feel me? But yeah, long story short, that's yeah. With the Anunnaki side, for example, that's also about leadership, but in a different sense. This was more about like building empires and leading through philosophies and through doctrines and through certain structures and stuff like that. Like as a feline, I can. It's like as a feline, there's not gonna be like a universal doctrine or like my fault. There's not gonna be like a doctrine for the people that I lead. For the Anunnaki though, I always call myself like a priest king. You feel me? As a Lyran, it's like a warrior king or like a warrior princess because I was a female at one point as a feline, but it's always like a warrior leader kind of a person. You feel me? Then Anunnaki John's like a priest king. You feel me? We're we're led by certain philosophies and we're led by certain doctrines and stuff like that. You feel me? And there's so many other sides. I have my frog form, which deals with multi-temporal healing, being able to heal through timelines. And I have different forms that deal with the same stuff, but in different ways. So it's like I've seen how all these lifetimes play into who I am inside this lifetime, and the different gifts and abilities they have, along with the different karmas and shadow aspects. So like certain things I might need to work on. For example, with the dragon stuff, right? Some dragon forms come with like it comes with more aggression and anger, which I have to watch that with inside myself. Um, my Lyran lifetime kind of. I don't like being inside enclosed spaces. I don't like feeling locked up because of the slavery that I went through as a Lyran. You feel me? So it's like I also see why I have certain phobias or I don't like certain things based upon certain lifetimes that I've had in the past. You feel me? My Arcturian side could become very like if I'm not aware of higher spiritual truths, I kind of could become overly intellectual, or I could become very critical of other people. I mean, shoot, in my reaction videos, I literally watch videos and critique them. I've learned to use that critiquing ability in a good way where I'm watching videos and saying, okay, that part's kind of true. That part's not that true. That part has some truth, but I wouldn't have said it like that. You feel me? It's very critical. So it's like I see so many things from these past lives and how they interweave with my lifetime now. And of course, I also by seeing my soul's template, I understand my purpose and the direction that my life should be heading and why it's heading in that way. The second thing I've learned from tapping into 60 consciousness is that I understand time overall way better. You feel me? Like I want to say that. Like I understand time as a certain dimension, because a dimension is a measurable extent. You feel me? I understand the dimension of time way more because timelines are made in the 6D, but they manifest through the 4D. You feel me? And then they become physical as the image of that timeline in the 3D manifests through the etheric energy inside the 2D to manifest in the physical 1D as matter. That's a whole process. I explained. If it went over your head, I have PowerPoints that talk about this kind of stuff. PowerPoints on my Patreon and shit. You feel me? There's so much stuff I have over there that goes way more in depth about every single plane and how the planes all kind of work together to make reality and stuff like that. I talk about all that shit. You feel me? But anyway, aside from understanding time altogether, I understood the different possible timelines for my life. I understood the main timeline and the highest timelines. I understand why certain timelines manifest and why others don't. I also kind of understand how to create timelines in general. You feel me? But the timelines that I create are always in alignment with my spirit because my spirit is the one that even direct. Because you have a seven, like your eternal spirit exists on the 7D. On the 6D, you have your architectural spirit, and your architectural spirit is literally the part of you that creates the template of your soul. It creates timelines for your soul, but this template and these timelines are dictated by your 7D eternal spirit. So your 7D eternal spirit calls all the shots, and your 6D architectural spirit just follows the directions of your eternal spirit. So, yes, I could create timelines, but it's all based upon the will of my spirit at the end of the day anyway. I can't just make some random shit where it's like I'm a fucking millionaire unless that's what my spirit wants me to do. You feel me? But yeah, like I can surf through timelines so easily and I can see kind of like how I'll be inside one timeline and how it's gonna shift to a new timeline and why I had to shift and why certain timelines end and why. Because like for example, right, with I'll just say my ex, right? I mentioned my ex in various videos. If for those of you guys who know you guys are OGs, you know that the shit with her wasn't the best situation for me, right? Now with that being said, I understand why I went through it. I understand what lessons it comes with. I understand how it also links back to certain Anunnaki lifetimes where I knew her back then. I understand that when I made the switch, it was at a certain time for a certain reason. And even when I stopped messing with her, her energy would still be around, and I understand why it was around, and I understand the process of dissolving a timeline and entering into a new timeline. I also see the potential timelines of where me being with her could have gone and how it could have been good in the sense of like we both could have been happy together, but how even though we would be I could see also how even though we could have been happy together, how it would have held me back from my purpose on the earth. You feel me? I could see how my girl now, I could see why she came into my life when she did. I could see what the future holds for us and how being with her is in such alignment with my purpose. I also see how me being with her aligns with her purpose. I can see how our purposes kind of mixed together and how our spirits collaborated to have a joint timeline together. You feel me? And that starts when it comes to the different connections with other people, that really gets higher into 8D stuff because you start to see the structure of the oversoul and how they're oversouling. You feel me? But just the timeline specifically, because with the oversoul stuff, I could see people in my oversoul and I could see their timelines. I can see their past lives. I can see what they're going through. I could literally see their whole entire shit. You feel me? However, with the 6D side, I get a small taste with just seeing how my timeline links with other people's timelines. And that's a big thing too. I really understood co-creation way more when I tapped into the 6D. Of course on the 8D it's like way bigger because you have access to everybody inside your oversoul, right? And inside the 6D you don't have access to the timelines. You kind of see how they're interwoven. Like in the 6D, I can't see all the timelines for people inside my oversoul. But I can see how our timelines mix together and why they do mix. You feel me? So I kind of understand that side. And I can also kind of see some of their soul template. It's the connection between 6D and 8D. They have connections, but 8D is way more expansive. Long story short, though, with the 6D, right? I really understood how we co-create things. I really understood how people's timelines mix and why they mix and how they mix and what goes into all that. You know, it's just it's so dope seeing that. You feel me? Um and I also could understand like I could also play out timelines in my mind that don't manifest physically, but I kind of see why I need to play out timelines in my mind because when I live a timeline in my mind, I can still take the lessons and understandings from that and then apply it to this timeline even if that other one doesn't manifest, you know? Cuz sometimes when you live out timelines in your mind, you can avoid certain things. People do it all the time with like relationships. They'll be like, if I'm with this person, what would my life look like? Now, of course, there's infinite possibilities that could happen with you and that person, but certain possibilities are more probable. You feel me? Certain possibilities, right? You have like there's a possibility where you and the other person are super duper happy, right? But that's not always very probable. You feel me? That's not always more likely to manifest. So when you look at certain people and kind of think like, damn, would being with this person lead to happiness? Whether it's a friend, girlfriend, whatever, boyfriend, whatever it is, best friend, whatever, right? Sibling, even. You know, you could look at inside your mind how things would play out, or I should say, the most likely things that will play out, because anything could play out, but some things are more likely. And when you see that, you kind of be like, damn, this shit wouldn't be that good. So that way, in your physical life, you don't interact with that person. You feel me? You're like, I'm gonna go over here. So it's like when you live certain timelines inside your mind, you could take certain lessons that help your decisions in the physical. And I do that all the time. And it's so funny because like when I be doing anything, whether it's driving or I'm at work, whenever I do a certain decision, inside my mind, I'll see the different break offs of what I could have did and also how what I did could have led to certain things. And by doing that, it kind of gives me insight as to why what I did was the best choice. Or it kind of shows me how there could have been better choices and how I could make those choices next time. You feel me? So the understanding with time got very expansive inside the 6D. You feel me? Um, but now I mentioned the third and last thing, right? Because I could talk about time all day, but you feel me? I'll just go on to the next thing, right? The last thing I'll say is that I understood different dimensions way more. And when I say dimensions, a dimension is a measurable extent of some kind. Length, width, height, time, space, light. Things like these I understood way more. I understood how dimensions form different spaces, right? Because they tell us in science that we live in a three-dimensional space. We live in a space that's made of three dimensions: length, width, and height. And now they introduce space time. Space time is just the three dimensions, length, width, and height of space, along with time, the events that happen inside that space. But I've seen how light gets structured to form spaces, and then those spaces are attuned to have certain perceptions of time and certain levels of gravity and stuff like that. It's like I could see way more about how different spaces are structured. And because of that, right? Because it's not just about like the time in a certain space, but there's also like energy, like energy grids, right? When I walk into a room, I can sense how that room is structured on a certain level. I can feel how the energy moves inside that room and how this room may be conducive for certain things. And it's not just based upon how the room looks. Like, for example, I could walk into a room that looks like an office, but I could tell it's really more conducive for kind of escaping certain situations. That's how the energy inside there feels. Like, for example, if the energy was really good for like focusing, it would kind of feel more closed off. It would feel like the energy runs in a certain structure, like a square, for example. You feel me? It would feel like there's no leaks going on. It would feel like the type of light, because energy is essentially light. So I could feel the type of light or the type of energy that moves through it. Like it would be like some type of blue light. You know what I'm saying? Opposed to like some red anxious shit. You feel me? But if it's more conducive for like escaping reality and stuff, I might feel certain leaks inside the energy where certain energies kind of just dissipate out that leak. The color of it might not even be blue. It might be some fucking violet transcendental shit where your mind kind of just transcends the physical. You're not focused on the physical at all. You feel me? So I could feel these things regardless of how the room looks. I could enter certain spaces, especially when it comes to like, because like even different rooms in a house, I can feel that. But the different rooms in a house, right, are all attuned to the main grid of the house. But the effect gets really intense when I enter like different towns, like, or different states. You feel me? Especially different planets, different stars, and different galaxies. That's like the biggest shit. Cause nigga, the reason why, see, galaxies are the physical manifestations of realms. You truly understand that shit though when you enter into a galaxy, because it feels like a whole entire different reality inside that bitch. And that's why with the multiverse, right? People think that there's different universes, but really there's just different realms and different timelines. Like, the dragon universe is not a dragon universe. It's a dragon realm which ties into this universe. But when you are inside that dragon realm, it really does feel like a whole separate universe. It really does. You feel me? But it isn't. That's because that space, the way that that space is structured, and the different dimensions of that space, pretty much the way that the way that dimensions are tuned in a space eventually leads to the laws and the rules inside that space. And the laws and the rules inside certain galaxies are way different, because even different planets are different. You feel me? Like, for example, one planet has more gravity. One planet has more gravity than the other one. Simple shit. You feel me? But it gets way more expansive than just that, because also the intelligence behind that space is different. You feel me? The consciousness behind the space is different. I clearly sense all these things. So sensing the structure of different spaces has become very big with 6D awareness. I could literally walk inside of a space and see the structure which this space operates off of, and why the life inside that space acts a certain kind of way and looks a certain kind of way. You feel me? It's really fucking dope tapping into that shit. Yeah. But, those are a few things I've tapped into with 6D awareness. Now, like I said, I explained 6D and all the other planes way more on Patreon. I have a whole PowerPoint for that shit. But if you guys can't check that out, you feel me? I hope this video provides you with some understanding about what 6D is kind of like, and different things you can learn while being inside 6D awareness. You feel me? Um, Drop a like on this video for a fact. I might make more videos like this. Like, I know for a fact I want to talk about what it was like accessing 9D consciousness. You feel me? Um with that one, it'll probably just be one big thing though, because like I could probably split it off into three, but there's mainly one big thing I've learned from tapping into 9D, and it's kind of like a way bigger 6D. You feel me? Like, real talk, like, it's crazy. But yeah, I'll just end the video right there. You feel me? I love you all. I'm gonna catch you in my next video. Peace. The freak out.